All right, now on this engine harness, normally on the Huracan and the R8, there are these two electrical boxes that are in the engine bay. Housed inside that housing are fuse blocks and relays. These are all different engine relays and so forth. But what I am doing here is I am converting, basically removing all these fuses and relays for my PDM. PDM 30 from MoTeC that I picked up actually allows me to do away with all this stuff. And I'll tell you what, without the wiring diagram, I would be in big trouble. Hi everyone, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dan Dulac, and on this channel we are building a V10 powered Ultima Evolution convertible. This is episode number 33. Gosh, I can't believe it's been 33 episodes. Anyway, if you've missed any of the previous 32 episodes, be sure to go check those out on my channel. We've been through quite the journey over the last year plus on this, and 2022 will be the year where this car is on the road. And we are just a couple short months away from that happening. A lot to cover on this episode, mainly around wiring. We are going to convert a lot of relays and fuses that are in the engine bay. We're going to convert those over to be used by the solid state relay system provided by the MoTeC PDM 30. We're going to go through, dissect the wiring diagram, the engine wiring harness. Fortunately, I have the wiring diagram, and that is a savior. We're going to go through all that in detail. Plus, I received some product in the mail, something I've been waiting for since I think around the August time frame last summer. So that finally arrived, and that will actually allow me to put power to the ground. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Here is the wiring diagram. This is from the R8. And I printed out, this is basically just the engine harness wiring diagram. It's 40 pages. And what I'm doing as I cut wires, I'm marking the wire with the circuit number on here. So this is a unique number all the way through. It counts from 1 all the way up to 462. That's basically the circuit location. And so I'm marking the wire, in this case, this red and green wire I know is a 7 amp fused circuit. Its destination is 138, different line number. But I'm marking the wire with this here. So I know exactly when I go to wire this up what this circuit goes to. So for example, if I follow 138, let's go to 138 here. All right, there's 138. So 138 is right here, and if I follow this up, you can see it starts at 115, so this is where I pick it up from the previous page. Follow it down. There's the connector, that's a body connector, the engine harness, and this goes to this device right here, which is N522, and if I look over here, N522 is piston cooling nozzle control valve. So that's what that goes to. So now all I need to do is with my PDM, I can program it to turn on with the ignition button to power, in this case, N522. But there's a whole bunch of them. So I can start to circuit some of these together and so forth. So I'm going through and doing that for every one of these circuits, so I understand how much power draw it's required and reverse engineering it. So again, I can remove all of this stuff, all these fuses and the relays. I'll do away with. My PDM 30 will work perfectly for that. I've already taken on the other side, this is the driver's side, I've already removed the fuse panel here. And all these wires are labeled so I know what circuit ID is on the wiring diagram. And I've deleted a few of the wires already. You can see I've got heat shrink over them. For like the smog pumps, there's 2 smog pumps on this engine, don't need them. Again, just deleting that. So that is done. And now I'm just working on cleaning the rest of this up get those wires all marked and sorted so that it can help me wire up the PDM. Then these plugs, of course, this goes into one of the ECUs. These go into the transmission ECU. And then this is a harness plug. So I know for sure that the electronic throttle pedal is 6 wires that will ultimately feed to here. And then this has got CAN high and CAN low in it as well. And I think there's a couple other wires that I'll use. So I already picked up the female version of this plug with pigtails, so I can make a nice clean harness there. I'll need to maybe get some Deutsch plugs or something so that it's easy to unplug the harness from the engine bay from the main body harness that I'm going to tie that into. So anyway, quite the mess. I'll get my trusty wiring diagram here and let's get to removing all this crap. All right, I'm getting started on the wiring over here. I've got all the circuits clipped out, cut out. I am just getting them all terminated here and wiring all the circuits to wire directly to my power distribution manager, my PDM30 from MoTeC. So let me show you where we're at here. All right, I've got this side of the harness to do. I've got all the relays and all of the fuses kind of out of the way. On this side of the engine, we just saw, I've already finished it. No more fuse block over here, and I removed the circuits I didn't need, and then this wire here, this loom, is secured with the other major loom using some stainless hose clamps to minimize some vibration, and that goes underneath the engine mount and all the way towards the front of the engine. So that side is completely done, and here's where this wire comes out, and I'll terminate this into my bulkhead plugs that I'll show you here in a second. And then I'm working on now is just getting all of these terminated, and those will connect into a bulkhead as well. So let me show you what I got for my bulkhead connectors. Again, no sponsorship or affiliation, but I come across these guys, Maven Performance. They do a lot of drag racing equipment, and I picked up this bulkhead that will take both harnesses. I'll plug this in. I'll cut a hole in the firewall over here. So I didn't do this on purpose, but I left a nice little spot to put this dual bulkhead coupler here, and then that will route behind the driver's seat, and then I'll just run it along the floorboard over to the PDM. So this is pretty sweet. Let me show you what this looks like. You can unscrew, so I can do this one-handed. There we go. Unscrew it, it's got a seal in it, so you can see this would be the female side where all the female sockets go, and then the male side where all the pins go. And there's a little seal in there, you can see the seal. So nice billet aluminum, machined aluminum, positive locking and latching, and it's sealed from the weather. And then I also got some of these 90-degree boots. These boots simply go, once the wires are looped in there, these boots simply go just like that. Nice 90-degree in the engine bay. So that should be really nice. I'm psyched. I'm gonna terminate all those. I've got all my wiring supplies here. Here's all the circuits and relays and fuses I clipped out. So all that mess is gone. So we're gonna get to terminating these wires and building that final loom, and then that's a major project that'll be done, and then this entire engine bay should be wired for sound. as you saw, what I've been using to splice a lot of these wires are these just these connectors here. They're just little butt splices, and special crimper tool for that. I did solder wires when I extended the engine harness. I did solder those. I decided just to crimp these. I don't know. There's different sides. Some say solder's fine. Some say it's not good because the solder joints could crack under vibration. I've never had a problem in all the cars I've ever built. I just decided to crimp these, save from getting out the solder iron and the potential for burning myself, which I'd probably do anyway. But so anyways, these are all crimped, extended, crimped. Really nice, clean, thin harness there. And again, those two fuse boxes are now gone because those were normally hanging off these two harnesses. And again, all of this stuff was crammed inside those fuse boxes. Fuses, relays, all that stuff is gone. Now it's straight into the PDM. And the PDM wiring is right here. That's all the wiring, and then the PDM is right there, ready to get wired in. So that's a heck of a lot cleaner than old school relays and so forth, that's for sure. All right, I am getting ready to terminate a bunch of pins onto this harness. Got my own little cardboard box station here ready to go. Got my crimping tool. I've got the sheet of paper where I'll record all the pins and where they go and what their function is. So these connectors, this one has 29 pins. 4 of them are 12 gauge. I think 19 or 16 gauge, and then the remainder are 20 gauge. So most of them are 16 gauge wires with 4 of them, again 12 gauge for some of the higher power hungry circuits. And the way these work, these are Deutsch connectors and they're solid pin. So they're closed end pins, so no moisture or anything will get inside those pins, which is good. And when you fit them together, they make a tremendously good contact. In fact, it's a little snug even plugging it in there. So that's a really, really nice connector. Now these take a special crimper, which is right here. This is a pin crimper. And basically what this crimper does is it crimps evenly. You can see the jaws come out in there. It crimps evenly on all 4 sides of the pin to make a super solid contact. These are weatherproof, so this has a weather seal built right into it, which will make it perfect for the engine bay. I've got my cap. This I'll slide on to the harness first, put all the pins on, slide the cap on to cover it up, and then this will be terminated. So I think I'm ready to go. Let's get to it. right, guys, I've got my harness all set here. Here's the harness, 2 main plugs there. And then I've just got a little bit of wiring loom left to make. Once I get the engine back in the car, I've got to just hook up a few of these wires. But for the most part, this loom is all done. And let me show you how this works. So this will be on the bulkhead on the rear firewall. Then this side, I'll have to cut a hole and then pass. This side will be visible on the cockpit side behind the driver's seat. And then all we do is from, again, inside the firewall, inside the engine bay, lock that into place. Then this one comes in. And this one locks into place. Just like that. And so that's what it will look like, kind of mounted up on the inside of the firewall there. Pretty clean, pretty slick, weatherproof, heat proof. That should do the job nicely. And then every bit of wire, so I've got all of my rear lights, backup, reverse camera, reverse lights, all the wires are right here that will come into this loom. So every bit of wiring coming forward from the engine bay will pass through one of these 2 connectors. So make it super slick to disconnect the entire rear end of the car, the electrical harness and system if I ever need to do that in the future. So that's project finally done. Pretty psyched with this. So let's get started on getting that hole cut and this mounted up. There it is. Came out pretty nice. What I realized though is I'm probably gonna make and 3D print a cover plate for the interior. The exterior here in the engine bay, it looks great, that billet cut black mounting plate. But on the other side, again, this is gonna be behind the seat. So, and I got the seat pushed all the way forward, so the seat will come back more. But you can see it's somewhat unfinished. So I might just 3D print a cover plate there just to tidy it up and make it look nice. Because then I'm gonna have those silicone boots, those 90-degree boots, like I showed you on the harness, are gonna be on this side as well. So that should work out nice. Pretty happy with that, not too bad getting it cut in there. And I'm glad I could make use of that slot next to the sump, because it was kind of a mistake. I thought the sump would be more centered in there, but I had to have the sump far to the left so that it would clear some of the engine components. So I was able to make use of that space. So pretty sweet. All right, here is the bulkhead connector. This will be the side facing the engine bay. And what I did was that I designed and 3D printed a cover plate that would be seen from inside the cockpit. Again, because it's behind the driver's seat, it won't be seen much, but here's what I did. Here's the cover, carbon fiber nylon printed, and this will go on like this. The screws, the 4 screws will pass through the holes, and then there's just enough space around the edge to fit the seals, so the boots. So these boots will then go on, and they kind of press fit on there, and they're snug so that this cover plate will actually help. The cover plate will actually help seal them, hold them in place. So it's pretty snug here. Behind the driver's seat will be, this is what you'll see. And then the looms, the harnesses come out down here. So pretty cool. Let's get this mounted on the car and this thing will be done. But now that I think about it, I think probably the better thing would be to create a cap with blind holes in the back so I don't see the screw holes through the carpet. Then maybe skin it in carbon fiber, much like this one. There we go. 3D printed blind rivet holes or blind aluminum thread insert holes in there. Carbon clear coated, ready to go. Let's put this on the car. All right, and there we have it. Carbon fiber plated. And I've got the rubber boots in there. And you can see that's where the harness would come out, those rubber boots, but looks pretty good. Worthy of an interior. All right, well that project's now done. Now I just gotta work on the loom here on the cockpit side of the Firewall. Without this, the car goes nowhere. Just got these in the mail. Let's open them up, take a look. I can dump it out. Yes, custom CV axles. Finally, they're here. Ordered these back in August, I guess it was. And here we are, mid-March, and they arrived. And this is probably the shortest CV axle on record.